After weeks of scorching heat, the rain had finally arrived. It wasn't just any rain, it was the kind that soaks into your soul and clings to your skin. Thunder rolled like distant drums of doom, and lightning turned the skyline into a flickering film reel. It was the perfect day to stay in and maybe, just maybe, finish that story. Emma sat cross-legged on the floor of her dimly lit apartment in Portland, Oregon, sipping coffee and staring at her open notebook. She had a deadline for a horror magazine submission, and for the past few weeks, her mind had been a barren wasteland. Nothing came to her, no ideas, no sparks, but tonight felt different. There was something in the air, something cold that made the back of her neck crawl. Emma had always been drawn to ghost stories, ever since she was a little girl. Though they terrified her, she couldn't resist them. Even as an adult, she still had to sleep with a nightlight if she was alone. If her leg dangled off the bed, she couldn't shake the feeling that something might grab it from underneath. So, as the storm raged on outside and darkness crept in through the window, Emma began to write. She remembered a story her cousin Rick once told her, something that always gave her goosebumps. Rick had grown up in rural Pennsylvania, near a town called Millbrook. Back when he was in high school, he and a group of friends often biked around after school. There was a dirt road cutting through a large field, an infamous shortcut. Everyone in the town said it was haunted. After sunset, no one used that road. People claimed that those who went down it after dark either never came back or were found unconscious, babbling nonsense, or worse, dead. Naturally, teenage Rick didn't believe a word of it. One chilly October evening, while the sun dipped behind clouds, the group had stayed out too long. By the time they realized it, it was nearly dark. "Dude, we're not gonna make it home before 8, said his friend Nate. "If my mum sees me coming in late again, I'm toast." Rick looked at the field. "Let's just take the shortcut. We'll be home in 20 minutes. Everyone hesitated. "That's the haunted one, right?" someone said. But Rick was already heading down the path. The others followed, reluctantly. At first, everything seemed fine. They were even laughing, joking, pretending to be scared. But halfway through the field, Rick noticed it was getting harder to pedal. He was athletic, football team, varsity level, but now his legs were straining. It felt like someone, or something, was sitting on the back of his bike. He told Nate, who immediately went pale. "Don't look back," Nate said. "Just ride, fast." Rick pushed harder, sweat pouring down his face. The air around him suddenly heavy. Then one of the guys shouted, "Your front wheel, it's lifting off the ground." As they neared the road, on the other side, a car's headlights lit up the field. Just as the light touched Rick's bike, the pressure on his back vanished. His bike dropped violently to the ground like it had been released. Later that night, Rick discovered deep dents on both sides of the bike's metal rack, exactly where someone's thumbs might have been pressing down. Back in her apartment, Emma smiled nervously. That story always made her uneasy, even though Rick swore it was true. She took another sip of coffee and tried to shake the chill running down her spine. Maybe she could use it as a base for her story. But then her thoughts drifted to her brother-in-law, Jake. Jake wasn't just a great guy. He was strange in a way that made you believe in things you didn't want to. He claimed to see things others couldn't. Spirits, entities, ghosts. Emma used to think he was messing with her, until one particular night. They were visiting Jake's aunt's house in a remote town in upstate New York. The house was old, Civil War era, and had that cold, stale smell old houses tend to have. After a long day of exploring nearby ruins and hiking near the Hudson, the family settled down to dinner. Jake suddenly turned to his aunt and asked casually, "Did a widow with a little girl used to live nearby? Maybe worked here?" The table went silent. His aunt's face paled. She asked why. Jake shrugged. "I just saw them, right outside the front door. She was wearing a white dress, holding the girl's hand. But they didn't come in, just stood there." Emma felt her stomach drop. The door had been locked since sunset. Sorry for the interruption. If you're still watching, please hit that subscribe button below. So, let's continue the video. Later, her aunt revealed that years ago, a widow had indeed worked for them. One day, she disappeared with her daughter. Weeks later, both were found in a nearby lake, an apparent murder-suicide. The family never spoke of it again. Emma's pen hovered above the page, her heart pounding. The rain was heavier now. The wind howled like something alive. She suddenly remembered the pizza she'd ordered. The delivery guy should have arrived by now. She glanced at her phone and saw 2 missed calls from Domino's. She cursed under her breath and rushed to the door, but then stopped. The hallway outside was pitch black. The building's stairwell light, always flickering, was now completely dead. She grabbed her phone for flashlight and stepped out. As she descended, the stairs seemed endless. She lived on the 3rd floor. She should have hit the ground level by now, but she kept going down. The stairwell was looping, never ending. She paused and looked over the railing. She was still on the 2nd floor. Her chest tightened. Something was wrong. Suddenly, she heard footsteps. Someone was coming up. She leaned over and saw a figure, someone in a delivery uniform, holding a pizza box, climbing slowly, head down. But she hadn't buzzed anyone in, and the main entrance was locked. As the figure got closer, Emma's body froze. She couldn't scream, couldn't move. She could feel the air around her thickening like fog. The figure stopped 2 steps below her and looked up. Its eyes weren't eyes. They were glowing, burning. A voice whispered in her ear, "Ma'am, your pizza's here." Emma shot up in bed, gasping. Her notebook was still open on the table. The coffee had gone cold. Thunder cracked outside. It was a dream, just a dream. She picked up her phone. There was a missed call from Domino's. A voicemail too.
"Hi, this is Domino's. We're so sorry. Due to the storm, we won't be able to deliver your order. Your money has been refunded. Stay safe out there."
Emma sighed and laughed nervously. But then, her eyes fell on the apartment door. It was open, and just outside it, in the dim hallway light, sat a steaming hot pizza box with the logo, Domino's Pizza. Still watching, but not subscribed. A lot of effort goes into making these videos. When you subscribe and share, it keeps me motivated to create more. So please, make sure to subscribe.